Well, hello, CPC. Sending all my love to you in this celebration time. I am Natalie Handley, and I was on staff as the Contemporary Worship Director from 2014 through 2022. And when I was asked to share a few stories of memories, the immediate one that comes up for me is just before I even met any of the rest of the church, I was to meet Pastor Dale as I was interested in the job and to see the church because I was in town. And he told me that it was under a little bit of a remodel. Well, when I arrived, it was under a bit more than a remodel. I would say an overhaul, like a complete construction project. And there was literally no church. It was like open beams. And there was no pastor there either until he came rolling up on his motorcycle a couple minutes later. And this was my first impression of the place and of my future boss. And I quickly found out that I was overdressed as I arrived in like a white summer dress and I had open toe heels on as he handed me a hard hat to wear and said, well, let's do the best we can. And he took me on a tour of these open beam areas saying, this is where the sanctuary is going to be built and this is where this is going to happen. Well, all went well, and I ended up joining the staff that next February. So many memories and thoughts as I think back over the time of CPC, but I would say one of my favorite parts of the job was just the finding creative ways to include the variety of musicians that were part of the congregation and part of our community. Of course, we had kind of our standard like piano, drums, and bass, and guitars and vocals for contemporary worship. But we also had a lot of instrumental flourishing that was happening with different voices, such as Angie on flute, bringing us a little bit of Celtic flute vibe, and Lindy on harmonica, drawing us into the bluesy side, and John on oboe or saxophone, or Carol on cello, and sometimes Dan came on trumpet, bringing us a Latin gospel kind of feel as well. It was definitely also a really fun challenge to figure out how to voice the three tenors that we had on the left side of the chancel. There were almost always three guys with pretty similar vocal range over there just singing out praise, and not many churches have that problem or blessing of having three tenors singing. It was pretty awesome. And yeah, I would say strongest memories are just the joy of what we got to create together as a community. And you might remember a few of these highlights for me. One was the chilliness of going outside to worship, because this stretched over the pandemic. And as we were coming out of the pandemic, we would do our worship outside. We had Advent Vespers outside in December, chilly, like 40-degree kind of weather, outdoors worshiping. Or the Christmas Eve, which was still the coldest I've ever been in my entire life. It was sub-zero. There was that strong wind chill. If you remember being there, kudos to you, because that was the coldest night of my life. And I had all my music on the iPad, and the minute I stepped outside with my iPad, it just shut down. It was like, not happening, not gonna do it. And really, who could blame the iPad? It was absolutely bone-chilling cold. I love doing all of the Third Space events with you all too. Favorite was probably helping to organize the yoga and Bach event, where 50 people came up to participate in yoga, led by Kate, and we were accompanied by the Bach cello suites that Derek played for us. Just truly a lovely night lakeside. And of course, all of the fun and creativity that went into the worship design team. Silly and productive. If you know, you know. That's all I can say. So thanks to all of you, and much love to all of you. Ultimately, CPC has always been a wonderful place to worship and to play. Peace and love.